After Jesus' resurrection, his disciples faced persecution and hardship as they spread the message of God's love. Yet, they endured, knowing that God was with them. Through their unwavering belief, they witnessed countless lives transformed, diseases healed, and hearts mended. Today, we continue to face trials and uncertainties, but the stories woven throughout the Bible reminds us that God is still working. Just as Abraham and Sarah received their miracle, the Israelites found deliverance, and Jesus conquered death. We too can experience God's work in our lives. Though the journey may be difficult, hold on to your faith, for God is always at work. In moments of doubt, remember the stories of old and trust that the same God who moved mountains in the past will move them in your life as well. You see, throughout history, countless individuals have faced trials and tribulations, yet their unwavering belief propelled them forward. Their stories reminds us that miracles happen when we refuse to let doubt overshadow our faith. It's about cultivating an unshakable trust in God's perfect timing and His plan for our life. Everything is possible for one who believes. Mark chapter 9 verse 23. Remember, it's not always about the destination, but the journey that molds us into stronger, more resilient individuals. So my friends, in those moments of doubt, when it feels like your prayers are unheard, I want to encourage you to keep believing. God may be working behind the scenes, orchestrating events in ways we cannot fathom. Our role is to trust, surrender, and remain steadfast in our faith. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11. In a small village, there lived a poor widow named Ruth. She had lost her husband and was left with no means to support herself and her younger daughter. Naomi, times were tough and they often went hungry. One day, Naomi heard news of a distant land where there was an abundance of food. She decided to journey there with Ruth, hoping for a better life. They arrived in Bethlehem, a town they had never been to before, with nothing but their faith and a glimmer of hope. Ruth went out to glean in the fields, picking up leftover grains that the harvester had left. By God's providence, she ended up in the field owned by a man named Boaz, who was a distant relative of Naomi's late husband. Boaz noticed Ruth's diligence and kindness, and he showed her favor and protection. He instructed his workers to intentionally leave extra grain for her to collect. Ruth was amazed at God's provision and felt a spark of hope in her heart. Boaz, a man of integrity, soon learned about Ruth's devotion to Naomi and her unwavering faith. He recognized her as a woman of noble character and decided to marry her, bringing stability and security to their lives. As their story unfolded, Ruth and Boaz had a son named Obed. He grew up to be the grandfather of King David. Through Ruth's faithful action and Boaz's kindness, God orchestrated a chain of events that ultimately led to the lineage of Jesus Christ. Ruth's story teaches us that even in the darkest of times, when hope seemed distant, God is still working behind the scenes. He uses kindness of strangers, the provision in unexpected places, and the threads of our lives to weave a beautiful tapestry of redemption. In our own lives, we may face hardship, uncertainties, and moments of despair. It is during those times that we must hold on to our faith. Just as Ruth did, we must trust that God is still working in ways we cannot always see or comprehend. God's plan may take time to unfold, and His timing may not align with our own. But if we persevere, remain faithful, and keep our trust in Him, we will witness faithfulness and provisions in ways we never imagined.